Okay. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be with you in this special masterclass on mindfulness and essential oils. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mary Hyatt, and I'll give you a little bit of a background on my story, just so that you kind of are familiar with who I am and why I decided to do this extra masterclass with you guys. I started using oils about 8, maybe 9 years ago now, and I was in just a really different season of life. I was about 70-ish pounds heavier than I am now. I was dealing with a lot of emotional imbalance. I was having a lot of panic attacks. I was just really struggling mentally and emotionally, to the point where it was challenging for me to leave the house. It was challenging for me to have a normal social life. And I just kind of felt like crazy, honestly, in my head. And I just was really unhappy, and I was using all kinds of different things to cope, whether that was food or alcohol or just checking out of life in whichever way I could. I was numbing, I was coping. And I can remember this really clear moment where I was sort of like looking at my face in the mirror going, how did I get to this place? How did I get to the place where I don't even recognize myself? Like nothing about me was Mary. And I can remember thinking, like, surely there has got to be more to life than this. Because I was in so much physical pain. I had endometriosis. I was having just all kinds of back pain, all kinds of issues. And I'm like, at the time, I was about 26 years old, 27 years old. And I'm thinking, all right, in your 20s, you're supposed to be like full of life and have all this energy. And I wasn't. I was also in a marriage that was just really not life-giving, and had experienced a lot of trauma early on in my marriage. And I finally had this sort of what we call in the South, I'm from Nashville, a come to Jesus moment where I sort of looked at my eyes and got honest and was like, literally, girl, either you fight for life or we know where this ends. And I had to make a really powerful decision to figure out, I didn't know how, I had no clue what was in store for me, but I made that powerful choice of going, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn, I'm going to read, I'm going to go to therapy, I'm going to do all the things that I can do to come back to me, to figure out why I was so unhappy, why I felt like I didn't know myself, why I felt like I couldn't speak up for myself. And so I went on a several year journey. Really, I'm still on it, of discovering who I was, who I am. And that journey led me to using essential oils as support for my physical body and support for my emotional body. And it was so unbelievably effective for me that I started sharing the oils with everyone. And I ended up building a business with doTERRA essential oils, because I was like, this was the missing link that I didn't have in this sort of holistic approach to taking care of me and finding me. I ended up as a plus size instructor, 240 pounds, got certified to teach yoga. And then along my journey, I became a life and business mindset coach. I got trained in hypnotherapy. And so all the work that I do now, I have a wonderful podcast. I hope you will check it out. It's called the Living Fully Alive podcast. And all the work that I do on my podcast, I have a membership. I coach one-to-one. I have group coaching programs. And then, of course, I'm involved with doTERRA essential oils. Everything that I touch has this element of mindfulness to it, has this element of being conscious, being fully alive. And in order for us to live fully alive, we have to be awake for life. We have to be connected to the present moment, connected to our emotions. Because when we're burying everything and we're denying our emotions, we're disassociating, we're avoiding, we're pretending they don't exist, we can't really show up as our true authentic selves, because at that point everything's pretending, everything is masking, everything is really inauthentic, and we end up being out of alignment with our truest selves. And so what I love to do is help women particularly come back to their true selves, to their home. And it starts with mindfulness. So tonight we're going to have a really great conversation around mindfulness and also how you can use essential oils to enhance a mindfulness practice. So I love seeing everybody on here. Hi to Suzanne and Emily and Crystal for joining. I'm so glad to see that you guys are on here. Hi, yay, I love to see faces. That's great. Hey, Suzanne. I am curious, before we hop into the majority of the content, hey, Sandra, will you guys put in the chat if you have any experience with mindfulness or any experience with oil? So I know we've got a couple people that are new to oils. I know a lot of you guys are already using your oils. So let me know. Mindfulness, you can just say like, yes, mindfulness, yes, oils, no mindfulness, no oils, however it works out. And let's blow up the chat. Jay, you said you have experience in both, a little bit of mindfulness. Alicia, never with oils, except the lavender oil you gave me, which I love. Awesome. Emily, yes and yes. Christina, use oils for the last 3 years. Beautiful. Janelle, yes to both. Jolynn, yes, oils and supplements. Beautiful. Betty, yes to the oils. Jennifer, yes and yes. Don, yes, mindfulness. Yes, oils. Gina, some oils. Sandra, yes on the oils. Denise, yes to both. Becky, no to mindfulness. Sharon, not a lot of mindfulness. Awesome. You're in the right place. Beth, yes to mindfulness. Obviously, we got a lot of oil users here. I'm just kind of going through those because we got a lot here. Janelle, no oils, but yes to mindfulness. Cool. Awesome. So this is going to be like such a fun time. So what I always say is anytime you show up at a training, in this case, this masterclass, I want to encourage you to just take the stance of a student tonight or today or whenever you're watching this recording. For those of you that aren't live with us, just be the student. Be willing to be surprised by something you don't know. Be willing to be open to receive maybe some messages that just come through for you. And this is, I like to say, like a drive-by little moment. So we're not getting insanely in depth. We're just going to be here for an hour. And it was hard. I was just messaging my sister, Mindy, who is on with me, who's the co-host. So she'll be answering questions. And she has been in doTERRA just about as long as I have. So she's super knowledgeable and a top leader in doTERRA as well. But I was just sharing with her earlier that I was like, there's so much I want to say. And I'm like having to really, really rein it in because this is my jam. Like, this is what I talk about. So I feel like we are good to go, ready to start. So I'm going to share my screen so we can hop straight into it. And I can't see the chat as of now. So if you do put something in like a question, I'll get to it at the end after I'm done sharing my screen. So I hope that makes sense. All right, let's go. Okay, let me see how I can get this. Okay, so some of you might be wondering, what is mindfulness? And mindfulness to me is there's so many definitions. I would say for me, the one that resonates with me mostly is this idea of being present, bringing all your attention, all your awareness to the present moment. So I'm going to read a couple of definitions for you that I think are even better at describing this. So mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. So this is definitely something that if you have worked with a coach, you've worked with a therapist, hopefully you've done this even if you've practiced yoga, this idea of really being in the here and now. Mindfulness is for some known as a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. Practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind and help reduce stress. The mental state of being aware of your feelings and accepting experiences. It can be used to help people who struggle with elevated levels of stress by refocusing the mind. So basically, we're observing what is here right now. So all of us in this moment, we are having a emotional experience to life. So as you sit wherever you are and you're watching this, you are having an emotional experience watching this. Now, it could be that you're thinking about things from today or your past, or maybe you're thinking about the future, what's happening tomorrow. Maybe you're thinking about and having an interpretation about what's going on right now. That is an experience right now. And so most of us are just going through the motions. It's sort of like sleepwalking through life, where we almost in a metaphorical way, we're driving the car and we show up at the grocery store and we don't even remember driving to the grocery store. Has that ever happened to you before? It's like, oh my God, I was driving my car, but I wasn't present in the moment and my body took over. It went into an automatic unconscious state. And all of a sudden I show up and like, what happened for the last 20 minutes? But that's how most of us are living our life, is that we are just going through the motions. Our body and our mind and our thoughts are on autopilot. So we're experiencing past emotions most of the time. We're reliving familiar emotions most of the time. In fact, 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. So we're literally just living a version of what we did yesterday and the day before and years ago and years ago and years ago, without ever pausing to slow down to really consciously check in with how am I feeling? How is my body responding to that chemical response in my body? Like as a sensation. Like right now, if I asked you to tune into your body, just do that for a second, tuning into your body and just checking in, like, what's my body doing right now? Is there any areas of pain or tightness or tension or clenching or holding? You might even notice like how your posture is in your chair. You might begin to feel the weight of your body in your seat. You might begin to notice, is your air cool or hot? What I'm doing is helping you get back into your body and come into this present moment, which is a mindfulness practice. So I really like the definition that Jon Kabat-Zinn, it's just like a really hilarious name, Kabat-Zinn, he says, well, let me first say, he is an American professor, emeritus of medicine, and the creator of the Stress Reduction Clinic and the Center of Mindfulness and Medicine, Healthcare and Society at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. So Western thinking dude. However, he has a whole practice built on the research of the benefits of mindfulness. So he says mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, as if your life depended on it. I'm going to read this again because I think this is really cool. There's 5 different elements that he's mentioning here. Mindfulness is paying attention, element number 1. On purpose, number 2. In the present moment, number 3. Non-judgmentally, number 4. And if your life depended on it. So let's break that down a little bit. And sorry, here's the quote so you can see on your screen, and you're welcome to, screenshot anything that you want to. So here's what it looks like. There's these 5 elements, right? So the first on the top left of the screen is paying attention. This is the first element of mindfulness. We listen, we watch, We consider what naturally exists without trying to avoid it or alter it. So we're attending to things we might habitually ignore. So you can bring mindfulness and paying attention to anything. Like right now, you might pay attention. Oh, I have a pen and I'm writing notes. Or like in the morning, I'm brushing my teeth. That's something that we do and we don't even think about it. You know, most of us wake up in our bodies based because they're programmed or taking us to the bathroom and we're brushing our teeth and we're thinking about our day. We're not thinking about brushing our teeth. So we can bring mindfulness. We can pay attention to these habitual kinds of activities, like our normal kind of internal processing of thoughts or feelings, body sensations, memories, belief. We're bringing that attention to what's here. So that's the first element. The second is we're doing this on purpose. So it's intentional. We're increasing awareness of this experience. We're saying, in this moment, I am choosing to be present. I am choosing to be aware. We're coming off of autopilot and we're like, all of a sudden, I'm right here on purpose, intentionally increasing my awareness. And so we're bringing essentially the unconscious, what's happening below the surface, all those thoughts, all those automatic programs, we're bringing it up to the level of awareness so we can notice it on purpose. The third element here that he says is in the present moment. The only way to practice mindfulness is right here, is right now, is in this moment. We're focusing on the here and the now. So we're not living in the past. We're not living in the future. We're really bringing all of our attention to the present moment. Because what happens is we can get stuck in regret, in resentment, in anxiety, in fear. And the future can be, when we start thinking about it, can feel a lot like pressure and overwhelm and stress and anxiety. We might be playing out catastrophe kind of thinking, worst case scenarios. So our point of power is in the present moment. The only thing that's real is right now. Literally, it doesn't matter what happened. The only thing that is real is right now. It doesn't matter what could happen. The only thing is real is right now, right here, right now. So we're coming into that present moment. And then the fourth element is non-judgmentally. And I love this. This is one of my favorite things to work on with my one-on-one coaching clients, is to come at their awareness without criticism or judgment. Coming at their awareness of how they're feeling, what their body is experiencing, with unconditional loving, with really like acceptance of it can just be, letting it be what is. We're just observing. We're just getting curious. It's like we're sort of like watching ourselves and what we're going through in this moment. And there's no need to fix it. There's no need to hurry through it. We're just becoming aware. And then lastly, and it's not on this slide, is as if your life depended on it. And I love this like little caveat. And this is sort of that carpe diem idea, seize the day, that why waste time ruminating about what we can't change, the past or the future, instead of opening up to what life has for me right now, what life is offering me right now. And during a time where it's just been so uncertain, this is our point of power, is the right here, right now. We cannot fix anything in the past. We cannot change anything in the future. Here we are right now. So we get to really be here as if our life depended on it. Okay, so those are the 5 elements of mindfulness. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits of mindfulness. Number 1, coming into the present moment helps you to regulate your emotions. It's literally helping your brain change chemically, and it's helping to downshift your nervous system. I'll talk about this here in a little bit, but it helps to reduce anxiety and fight depression and also PTSD. So that's why if you read anything about trauma It's always about coming into the present, feeling your body. That's why they prescribe yoga and meditation to war veterans for this very, very reason. It improves academic performance. It fights memory loss. It also, just from like a psychological standpoint, it helps you notice and become aware of your unconscious destructive patterns that are keeping you stuck. Self-sabotage, limiting beliefs. It helps you create new awareness of the conversation that's happening between your ears, taking the unconscious to the conscious, and ultimately understanding ourselves more deeply, being less reactive and more empathetic. And also invites us to practice being, because we are human beings, rather than being human doings. We get to sit, we get to be, we just get to exist for a moment without having to do anything, accomplish anything, and just be. So the physical benefits, and this is based a lot on studies at the University of Massachusetts, literally mindfulness has an effect on our physical body because there is this mind-body connection. I wish that I could go into all of the science and geek out about this with you. This really, could be like a full-blown workshop all day. So I can't get into all of that, but these are all, scientifically supported studies. And these are the results. Fights chronic pain, helps irritable bowel disease, reduces heart disease risk, reduces rheumatoid arthritis, slows HIV progression, aids in weight loss, lessens cold and flu effects. I mean, hello, like if we ever needed a time to basically make sure that our bodies were operating at optimal capacity, optimal vitality, it's now. And mindfulness is a way to allow our cortisol to come down, to slow down our adrenals, to allow ourselves to digest properly. It just like calms everything down. And I want to, for a minute, talk about what's happening in the brain. Again, I'm not going to go into all of the science of this. However, when we practice mindfulness meditation, coming into the present moment, calming everything down, what's happening is right now, most of us have been operating in high beta brainwaves. That is a very fast frequency of brainwaves that you can measure. And this is a brainwave that is, when it's like operating, it's like having your brain be in fifth gear with your foot all the way down on the gas pedal. It's a little bit manic. It's like, zzz. It's the survival brain. When we are in this mode, in high beta brainwave, we have a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. We're in that very reactive mode. So we just snap, we get really emotional really quickly, we get angry really quickly, we start seeing people as others, and we start defending ourselves. We start wanting to protect ourselves. It's really, we get back into that lizard reptilian part of our brain, and we are in defense mode. We are in that fight or flight. And America, well, I shouldn't even say America, the world has pretty much been in that all for the past year. High beta. We're paranoid, we're freaking out, we're scared, we're triggered, we're anxious, we're stressed out. And you compound that by millions of people, that energetic wave, you can feel it. It's palpable, right? Like you can feel it in the air. So what mindfulness can do is help you go from high beta to alpha. Alpha is a slower brain wave that is beautiful for meditation. It brings us into the part of our nervous system that can rest and digest. It's the part that is the repair, the heal, the pause, so that we're not so reactive. It gives us the opportunity to enter the frontal lobe of our brain, responsible for executive functioning, responsible for thinking before we act. The part of us that can access compassion and empathy. And then we just slow everything down. So to me, that's a huge gift for our bodies, because the truth is we can't be like a NASCAR car going around lap after lap after lap and never stop for the pit stop and get our tires changed and get our gas refilled. Like, no thing living can just go a million miles an hour 24/7. And so when we don't pause to slow down and check in, creating some mindfulness, we really do burn ourselves out to complete exhaustion. That's where we get a lot of dis-ease in the body, chronic health issues, ulcers, panic attacks, all the things. And mindfulness is a beautiful way to kind of go, okay, let me come back to third gear, second gear, downshift a little bit emotionally. So I want to give you a really practical process to practice mindfulness. Because to me, mindfulness and all of the work that I do, I like to think of it like this, is a sacred pause. A sacred pause. It's something that is ordinary and extraordinary. It's ordinary in that we can bring awareness to literally anything that we're doing, driving our car, brushing our teeth, being in a situation where we're actively listening to someone, mindfully present in the moment when we're with a friend or a lover or a child. But it can be extraordinary because to me, this is where we experience the divine. We experience God, source, universe, higher power, is in those moments of stillness, is in those moments of reflection. And so I want to give you an opportunity to follow a technique that I've learned from a teacher of mine that helps us connect with, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling? What are the emotions that I have? And so that we can process through them without stuffing them into the body. Because when we stuff our emotions, they come out sideways. We've all experienced that. We lash out, we yell, we get angry, we get triggered. It comes out through pain, dis-ease, health issues. So processing your emotions is unbelievably important, and we can do this through mindfulness. So let me walk you through that. Just this process of creating a mindfulness practice. And then we're going to hop into all of the oils. All right. So Tara Brach is the teacher who I adore. She has a beautiful podcast. She's written several books called Radical Compassion, Radical Acceptance. She is a mindfulness teacher. She's beautiful, amazing. And she says mindfulness is a pause, the space between stimulus and response, where choice lies. So that's what we are working on, is this pause, this space between a stimulus and a response. So here are her 4 steps. It's used in the acronym RAIN, R-A-I-N, and this is how you practice this. Recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So after we get done with this recording, I am actually going to send you a guided meditation that I recorded today. This is something that I do a lot. I have many guided meditations on YouTube, but I did one specifically for this masterclass. It's 15 minutes long, and I walk you through this process, so you get to actually experience it. So I'm going to send that out to you, just my gift to you, as a link. You're welcome to do it, share it with whoever you want to, but I go through these steps. First is that we recognize, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? Can I name my emotion? Where do I feel it in my body? So right now, I know I can't see the chat, but this will be just great for those of you who can see the chat and are participating together. Take a moment and just check in and see what is your number one feeling you're feeling right now. And this is a safe space to be vulnerable and to share. You know, for me, I have my little core emotions chart right here. Anger, shame, guilt, fear, lonely, sad, hurt, joy, gratitude, love, peace, anxiety, overwhelm. If you could check in, what are you feeling right now? Let's recognize what is happening. It's already here. You're already experiencing it. So we'll just blow that up right now. Put in the chat. Let's see it. And like I said, I wish I could click on that. So let me just see if I can. Oh, look, I can. Okay, angst, connection, tiredness, serene, relaxed and calm, gratitude, lonely, excited, stressed, lack of focus, sadness, anger, appreciation. So good. So good. And I'll answer questions at the end, by the way. So if Mindy doesn't answer them, we'll have a little Q&A time. But that's the first step, is we recognize what's happening. And then second, and this is the mindfulness part to me that's so beautiful, is we allow, we accept what's here. This is the non-judgmental piece. So this is what we accept, what is here without judgment, and we open to it. We feel into it. We sit with it. We don't try to rush through it and fix it, invalidate it, manage it, control it, stuff it, bury it, deny it, run from it. We soften. This is a very kind of like feminine idea. We soften very lovingly, and we allow for life to just be as it is. What if I wasn't in resistance to it? What if I didn't have to fix it or change it? What if I could just allow it, open a little bit more to it? Just think about the kindness, the unconditional loving that gets brought into that. We don't often give ourselves that grace. So this is a beautiful opportunity. And then after we've really just kind of created, and this is like, could go on for several minutes, then we investigate with a gentle, curious attention. So we might kind of begin to notice and deepening our awareness. Like, what am I longing for? I wonder what this stress is about. What is it here to teach me? Where do I feel this in my body? Do I feel it in my throat? Do I feel it in my chest? Do I feel it as nausea in my stomach? Does my skin feel hot? Am I sweating? What is this experience? Where is this experience trying to lead me? Like, everything that we have right here in the present is our teacher. So we investigate gently. And then lastly, we nurture with loving presence. And this is one of my favorite questions. If you're in my membership, I know several of y'all on here are, we ask this question all the time. What do I need? Like, if I were to close my eyes and ask myself, what do I need? And listen. You know, maybe it's to stop working. Maybe it's to take a walk and move my body. Maybe it's to hydrate. Maybe it's to call a friend. Maybe it's to connect with God. What is it that I need? What's the kind thing that I can do right now? That's that nurturing. That's that loving. So those are the 4 steps, this RAIN acronym: recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So I want to shift now into talking about essential oils and how oils, can begin to enhance mindfulness. Oils are so powerful. They are one of the most, if not the most powerful tool we can use to like supercharge your mindfulness experience. It's great to practice mindfulness in and of itself, but I love like making it even more of a rich and sacred experience. So there are 3 ways that essential oils enhance mindfulness. Now, tonight, I will say as a caveat, we are talking about doTERRA essential oils. So as I go through and talk about the blends or the individual oils, just know that these are specific to doTERRA. And anyone who's using doTERRA oils on the call will tell you they are the best, the highest grade that you can get out there, so incredibly ethically sourced around the world with our private partners. And they have the highest therapeutic value of any oils out there on the market. So they are incredibly pure and incredibly effective. And they just literally do not compare to what you could buy at the store. So we're obsessed with the quality of our oils. You can literally like open a bottle and compare and be like, oh my God, just it's the quality, you can't beat it. And just, you can smell the difference. So we're going to be talking about doTERRA oils tonight. So there are 3 ways, and y'all know this because we practice this already: aromatic, topical, and internal. However, I'm going to give a little caveat to using these a little bit differently when we're talking about mindfulness. So aromatically, that just means smelling the oils. It unlocks the amygdala. So smell is the fastest way to affect mood. Our sense of smell is 10,000 times more sensitive than our other senses. So there are smell receptors, get this, on every organ of the body. Is that cool or what? So as you inhale an essential oil, those aromatic molecules travel up through our nose, through the nasal passages, to the olfactory bulbs, which are linked directly to our emotional brain, the limbic system of the brain. And smell is the only way to have direct access to the amygdala. And the amygdala is where our emotional memories and experiences are stored. So aromatic inhalation, smelling the oils, putting a drop between your hands, rubbing your hands together, inhaling or having a diffuser going, unlocks the amygdala. This is how inhalation creates immediate emotional impact. So for example, if you've ever smelled baked bread and it triggers a memory of a time in France with a bunch of, fresh bread and bakeries, or your grandmother baking bread when you were a little girl, it's because that aroma has a direct effect on those memories, those emotional memories. The beautiful thing is that because of the chemistry of our oils, it's having a therapeutic benefit. It's literally affecting our entire nervous system. So then secondly, when we apply the oils topically, and I'll share some of my favorite ways to do this for our mindfulness practice, this stimulates self-repair. So wherever we place the oils, trigger points, the bottoms of our feet, this is having a direct reflection or a direct effect on our nervous system. It's again helping us regulate, helping us come down, managing our hormones, managing our adrenals, our cortisol levels. All of that is going, okay, let's bring this back into balance. And then lastly, internally, it balances our chemical reactions. It's having an effect on the synergy inside of our cells, how they move and operate, the signals that they're sending throughout one another. And it brings about balance, chemical balance. So I want to go over a couple of categories of essential oils that you can use in your practice. And we're going to start with the stimulating oils. So for me, when I'm sitting down for a mindfulness exercise, like the meditation I'm going to send you on YouTube, sometimes I'm feeling really down in the dumps. Sometimes I'm feeling really just heavy and exhausted, and I don't have a lot of zest for life. And this is when it's great to pull out our stimulating oils, applying them to the body, using them in a diffuser, inhaling them through our hands. And so these are a sampling, not a complete list, of some of my favorite oils that are stimulating, invigorating. All of our citrus oils: tangerine, wild orange, lemon, lime. Basil is amazing for helping with our adrenals. Gives us a jolt of energy. If you're feeling exhausted, basil is your best friend. Lemongrass, incredibly cleansing and purifying. Peppermint, very uplifting, very stimulating. Eucalyptus, it opens up all the airways. Manuka, unbelievably powerful for stimulating. And then we can look at oils that are calming. So if we're feeling in that kind of high beta brainwave, we're going to look at some of these beautiful, oftentimes herbal or floral essential oils: lavender, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, marjoram, geranium, neroli, magnolia. Those oils are so harmonizing and balancing. So for me, when I'm feeling a little out of sorts, a little manic, a little zinging, I'm pulling out some of these calming oils that promote that sense of ease, like a big exhale. It calms down my nervous system. It's so powerful. And then we've got our grounding essential oils. These are our heavy, resiny, thick, oftentimes wooded, rooted oils. So cedarwood, frankincense, sandalwood, our balance blend, patchouli, vetiver, clary sage. All of these are going to literally, almost like metaphorically, give our feet roots so that we feel centered, aligned, and grounded. So for me, I honestly use these oils every single day, like as maintenance. Whether I'm using them during my mindfulness practice or not, I'm using these every day. Because with the way that our world is going, I need to stay grounded. I need to be like brought into the present moment. Those wood oils are very, it's like they bring me back to earth. You know, if I'm up here catastrophizing, worst case scenario in my fear brain, these oils automatically connect me to the earth. Find your feet. Find your feet, find your feet. So I love, love, love these oils. So I want to share with you, grab out your phone. That was bad English. Grab your phone. I want to share with you a couple of my favorite blends that I use on a regular basis. And I just mix these up ahead of time. So I have them on hand. So if you are an avid oil user already, and maybe you only have some of the basic essential oils, these would be some of my like go-to blends that I make at home in roller bottles so that I have them and pull them out. Because I just love, like, there's something very kinesthetic about making the blends myself, that even that is a mindfulness practice. Smelling the oils every time I put several drops in and make these blends. You know what? We're going to hold off on those blends because I forgot I moved them in my PowerPoint. So I'm going to get to the blends here in a second. So hold tight. You can get your phones out in a second. I did want to highlight a few individual oils that have emotional properties that I think you're going to love, specifically for mindfulness. So these are the oils. I forgot I went into them individually, and then I'll show you the blends that I use them in. I'm going to be using this book called, I don't know if you can see this, Emotions and Essential Oils. I know it's kind of blurry. And you can find this, I believe, on Amazon. Maybe you might just put the name in the chat. And I'm going to read to you, because each oil, along with having properties that help our physical body, the chemistry of our physical body, bringing our body back into balance, they also have emotional properties as well. So clary sage is known as the oil of clarity and vision. So as I read the description, imagine how this would be helpful in a mindfulness practice. If you're drawn to this, write it down on your page real quick as a reminder to yourself that you resonated intuitively with this oil. This is one of my favorites. Clary sage assists individuals in changing their perceptions. It gives us courage to see the truth. Clary sage encourages individuals to remain open to new ideas and new perspectives. Clary sage invites individuals to expand their vision and accept the reality of the spiritual world. So that's kind of cool. Clarity and vision. When we're mindful, in mindfulness practice, that's so helpful to have that clarity and vision. This is one of my favorites, Copaiba, the oil of unveiling. And I realize I have an extra N in there. Forgive the typo. Copaiba. This helps to experience the deeper meaning and messages showing up in one's life, thoughtfully aware of some of those shadow aspects of the self, and discover who we really are. It invites us into a vulnerable self-awareness that reveals anything that might be buried in our heart, in our mind, in our body, and helps to offer us assistance to anybody who gets stuck in those lower vibrations of shame or fear or self-loathing, and summons them to begin to unravel and restore the process necessary for lasting healing and further awareness of insight. That's pretty amazing. Copaiba also invites individuals to come to the divine for clarity and redefinition. And ultimately, it's through that the unveiling of the individual can fully accept the magnificence that they are. I love that one. So good. Immortelle. So this is a blend. It's actually the anti-aging blend. You may have used this for your wrinkles. I use it every day. And I love this oil for its benefits to our mind. It is the oil of spiritual insight. It combines a bunch of different essential oils that are very grounding oils that assist us in connecting our spirit, our body to heaven and earth. It encourages positive states of being. It supports the development of faith, hope, gratitude, love, patience, and trust. It offers grace and comfort when one feels discouraged or distressed. So this is really one you probably wouldn't think about, but I love it, and beautiful for the skin. So double duty. I mean, they all have obviously double duty. We love our oils because they're very versatile. Surprise, surprise, frankincense. No surprise. We always have to mention our lovely Frank, but I love this because it's the oil of truth. It invites individuals to let go of lower vibrations, lies, deceptions, and negativity. This oil helps create new perspective based on light and truth. Through connecting the soul with its inner light, this oil reveals the truth. And we need that more than ever right now. To not be in the stories of anxiety and stress, we need to know what's real. All right, sandalwood, the oil of sacred devotion. Sandalwood assists with all kinds of prayer, meditation, and spiritual worship. This is ancient. A lot of these are, found back in Egyptian days, biblical references all over, sandalwood and frankincense being two that are mentioned. Sandalwood assists in quieting the mind so that individuals may hear the subtle voice of the spirit. It raises them into higher levels of consciousness. So really, really great. This would be like definite go-to. And then last but not least, vetiver, the oil of centering and descent. Vetiver oil assists in becoming more rooted in life. Vetiver brings the individual back down to earth. It assists them in grounding to the physical world. Vetiver also assists individuals in deeply connecting with what they think and feel. So when we're working on our emotions, this is going to be a good one. In this way, vetiver is incredibly supportive to all kinds of self-awareness work. It helps uncover the root of the emotional issue. How awesome is that? It grounds us into the present moment and carries us through emotional catharsis. I will take one of each, please. Like, they're just so powerful and just so amazing. Now, here are the blends that I promised you. Grab your phone, grab a screenshot. These are my favorite. The first is like a big batch. So I'm literally taking one of those bottles and mixing like in a probably 15 ml bottle, all of those oils. Now you could do the ratio and do the math and probably get it to a 1 dose. I'm not going to do the math for you right now, but I know you're smart enough to figure it out. But I love it so much that I make it in a big dose. Then my meditation blend, I love clary sage, frankincense, cypress, sandalwood, and vetiver. My inhale blend, this is when I need to like really take a moment. Lavender, neroli or petitgrain, ylang ylang. And then of course, my centering, sandalwood, frankincense, and bergamot. I love each of these blends. I will also email these out to you, and I email the YouTube video out for you. So if you don't have your phone and can't take a picture. I'll send these as well, so you can make these up. So let's talk about really quick where to apply these oils. So when you have these oils, these beautiful grounding, calming, stimulating oils, we want to put them on the body as well as inhaling the aroma. So if you do want to apply them topically, of course, we always recommend diluting them with a carrier oil in case you have any kind of skin sensitivity. So like a coconut oil or jojoba oil, sesame seed oil, doesn't really matter your preference there, but go ahead and dilute these oils. And so I always say to apply them to the wrists. So if you can see my face on your screen, 3 fingers down from your wrist is a stress meridian point. So you know how when you used to use perfume and you'd spray it and you'd rub your wrists together, there's actually a reason why we do that and why we apply it there. It's actually a stress point and relieve stress and anxiety on the wrist. So whether you tap that area or you acupuncture, but putting oil there is really great as a stress point. The back of the neck, so right where the skull meets the top of the neck on either side of the spine, so about right there, if you can see that, that area is really great for immediately calming the nervous system. Again, you could literally rub that with your fingers or tap it, but putting oil right there is really, really fantastic. If you're in that high beta, to come down, if you're feeling like you've got some hyper, focus, kind of just manic energy, great to put on the back of the neck. I love putting oils on my heart just to stimulate this point, our love, our unconditional loving, empathy, compassion, opening up that space of the heart. And then our third eye. This is actually going to affect the pituitary gland. And it is known as the seat of intuition and the seat of your wisdom. We all have the ability to see beyond what is tangible in our world. And the third eye is known as that ability to connect with the higher realms, spirit, God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, however, I know that everybody's from different faith backgrounds here, but it enhances intuition and concentration. It really does affect that pituitary gland. So that's that point. So even for me, sometimes I'll just take some frankincense, dab it on my finger, and just tap here, just kind of going, all right, let's check in. Because I don't want to hear from my humanness or my ego. I want to hear God. I want to hear my divine connection, my intuition, my wisdom. And so that can be a great way of just doing that. All right. So I'll leave you with this and we'll open it up to Q&A. If you want to conquer the anxiety in your life, live in the moment, live in the breath. So what I would like to do, let me stop my screen share here. What I would like to do is we're going to do this for 3 minutes. We're going to do a 3-minute breathing exercise to bring us into the present here and now. And then we'll open it up to Q&A. But I want to give you an experience. Like I said, I'm going to email you this YouTube so you'll really be able to take what you've learned tonight and put it into practical, embodiment, like getting into the integration of what you've learned. It doesn't help to just sit here and learn. We've got to put it into practice. We only can receive those benefits if we go after this and practice it. If we get those oils, if we use them, if we literally take the top off the bottle and smell our oils. That's the only way to get the benefits, is to do it. It doesn't help just to have the knowledge. So I really want to encourage you. So let's practice that now. So go ahead and close your eyes for me. Taking a moment here to find that place of stillness. Settle in your chair. Taking in a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Again, in. Exhale fully. Let it all go. Inhale. Exhale, release. Taking a moment find that place of centering. Breathing in and out of the nose now. Nice and slow and deep. And just seeing if you can inhale on 4 counts. And then exhale on 4 counts. So inhaling 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Join me on this breath. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. On your own. In, out, in, and out. 2 more times. In, out. Last time. In and out. And then taking in another deep breath in. Exhaling fully. Once again, in. Exhale, release. And then slowly allowing yourself to come back to this moment. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Beautiful. That was 2 minutes. I would love to answer any questions that you have. And I will say too, if you don't have essential oils yet, whoever invited you to this masterclass, definitely connect with them. They can, I'm sure, connect you, if it's not themselves, to the person who can help you to get these at a discount, which is great, wholesale 20% off. And if you are using oils, put some of these new ones that you haven't used before on your next order and really experience in the present moment the benefits of how these oils really bring you into that sacred pause. And like I said, I'll email you the YouTube and all that good stuff. So, okay. So Anita, you asked, do I use adaptive a lot in this? I didn't hear you mention it. Yes, I do. I love our adaptive blend. I use adaptive every day. I use our adaptive soft gels every night before I go to bed. And absolutely, there's no wrong or right oils to use. This is where it's really great to let your intuition lead. Like I said, this is truly like a flyby. Look at all of this. I didn't get to go into depth of like all my favorite oils, but absolutely adaptive is a perfect choice for a mindfulness practice. Absolutely. Let me just look and see if there are any other questions. Mindy, thank you for recapping everything. Mindy said therapists often have clients do a few minutes of mindfulness practice at the beginning of a therapy session to come into the present moment, to be fully aware of their emotions and where they are instead of being disconnected and distracted with the things of their day. Absolutely. Yes. When I send out the recording, Alicia, you will see, it'll be this video. So you'll see all the slides that I shared. So you'll get to have those as well. Oh, any other questions? Any other comments? Any other favorite oils you guys use for your meditation or prayer or mindfulness practice? I would love to know. Anita, you said, how often do you recommend these practices? I really live a mindful life. So I am practicing mindfulness all the time. I'm always inviting myself to come back to the present moment when I've drifted off somewhere or I've gotten stuck in the trance of fear or anxiety. It's like I catch myself and I come back. You know, that is a mindfulness spiritual practice. Now, in the form of like meditation, where I sit down and I connect with my emotions, I honestly do this daily as a morning daily check-in. So every morning, I want to know, where am I at today? What am I checking in with today? How am I feeling? What do I need? How can I love on myself today? So that I start myself off with awareness rather than just hopping into my to-do list. I have that sacred pause. I connect. I get to go up before I go out. I go vertical before I go horizontal. So I'm doing it truly every day. Joy, you said, do you have a single go-to oil to open a mindfulness practice? Any of those single ones that I mentioned, sandalwood, frankincense, clary sage, like you mentioned, is great. My go-to right now is copaiba. I just love it for all kinds of different reasons, but it just really changes depending on my mood. I kind of have a lot of variety in the oils that I use, but I would just say, listen to your intuition. Which one are you drawn to? Which one do you resonate with? If you feel like clary sage is that one for right now, great. And then tomorrow you can choose a different one, or weeks from now you can choose a different one. So I always kind of just say, like, let's take away the rules and start anchoring into our intuition for some of these choices. Anita, does it seem time consuming? No, because at the beginning, you know, when I was practicing in the morning, for sure, you know, that was a different start to my morning than normal. But the meditation that I send you guys is 15 minutes. So it's really, really quick. And I can come into the moment like that. It's just quick. Like right now, it's like, oh, my hands are on this book. You know, I'm feeling the lights on my face. That's warm. That doesn't take me any time. I'm just shifting my focus. So I think that's a way to think of it. It's not something extra you're doing. We're just changing where we're looking. We're changing what we're becoming aware of. We're changing our focus. So it's just a new level of awareness more than it is an added thing that we're doing. And it's just something, it's kind of like how you move through life, if that makes sense. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for just being here. Let's all together take a nice deep breath. Feel that air coming into the nostrils, being present with the breath all the way in, exhaling through the mouth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolutely connect to the person that invited you to this masterclass. Feel free to share this and connect with me off of here. So maryhyatt.com, you can find all my information there, my podcast, my coaching, my membership. I would love to connect with you as well, but I appreciate all your attentiveness. I'm really, really grateful for each of you for being here, for being present. Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see y'all later. All right. Bye, guys.